Welcome back to the Monaro Zone. Today's debate raises a serious question. Has Snowy Monaro Regional Council been illegally recording private conversations of residents and employees without their knowledge or consent? This isn't about whether cameras are good or bad. The issue is the audio. Council heard that its surveillance systems had continuously recorded audio inside and outside council buildings, potentially capturing private conversations without proper notification. Being in a public place doesn't automatically make every conversation fair game for government recording. The question is simple. Did local council have the legal right to record these conversations? Perhaps even more concerning was that some councillors defended the audio recording on safety grounds. This wasn't about defending threatening behaviour. It's about whether your local council can record your conversations because somebody might behave badly. And here's where the debate became extraordinary. The motion was reduced to one simple request: obtain independent legal advice on whether council's CCTV and audio recording complied with the law. The independents, Stewart, Rose, Elliott, Rooney, and Thaler, voted for independent legal advice. Surprisingly, Higgins, Summers, Davis, and Hopkins voted against that. Fortunately, the motion was carried. If the legal advice finds that council knowingly recorded private conversations contrary to law, this would represent a profound breach of public trust, and those responsible should be held to account. Council serves the community. It does not own the community. So take note of who demanded answers, and especially who opposed even obtaining independent legal advice. Because this is bigger than just the cameras. It's about whether you can trust the people you pay who are supposed to serve you.
But it would appear that Councillor Thaler has withdrawn his original motion and we've replaced it with Councillor Rose's motion, so we're debating this now. Let's see how far we get. Councillor Thaler, you have 3 minutes to talk about this amended version.
So I've accepted Councillor Rose's amendment because it did take what I said and it took it a bit further and a bit clearer and embeds it into the Act and it seeks legal advice. I'm going to be very firm and stand here and tell you that what we're doing as a council presently is unlawful. We are breaking the law.
Councillor Thaler, please do not make statements that will bring our council into disrepute.
So operating a video surveillance device that records audio in private or public places is a strict breach of the Surveillance Devices Act, the Workplace Surveillance Act, Privacy Act, Commonwealth, and the Privacy and Personal Information Act. So these are things that we are doing. They are factual, no exaggeration. I have taken a photograph of the video head down on the information centre in the main street of Cooma. There's two video heads. One surveils the park and one surveils the main street. That video head is a 6 megapixel audio-enabled device. So it records audio of the park and the footpath. The video heads out in the ante-room, at the bottom of the stairs of the chamber, and the two in the reception area, and the 3 outside on the external walls of the council all record audio. I have the video and the audio files from it. Fact. We're not allowed to do that. The signs warning of video and audio on the front door and the front of the door were only installed in the last 2 weeks. And we've been recording video and audio for 2 years. So it's not a matter of whether I'm bringing council into disrepute, it's the council is in disrepute because it is breaking the law.
Councillor Thaler, don't say the same thing over and over again when I've asked you not to.
But you can't prevent me from saying the truth, Chair.
You cannot accuse our council of breaking the law. Please take that back and don't refer to it again.
It appears that we're breaking the law.
Councillor Rose, you're not really helping. Well, Councillor Thaler, continue.
Chair, I've got legal advice that says that is exactly what's occurring. So it's very hard to then say, well, I don't think that's it. Well, you don't, because you can't. So what I'm suggesting is that, subject to the Workplace Surveillance Act, staff have to be notified that they are being recorded. And it's not just here at this building, it's the information centre, it's anywhere else these things have been installed. There are strict rules in how you go about doing this. Then there should also be strict rules about how these things are accessed. We see in America a massive fight in the community over there about flock cameras. And I've talked about that previously. Flock cameras record number plates, Bluetooth, wireless signals, a range of data any numbers off mobile phones, and the community are in outrage because it's a breach of their Fourth Amendment rights. So we are seeing the creeping surveillance state, and I've had previous motions where we should push back on that. But in this context,
Councillor Taylor.
protecting the staff, we should comply with the law.
Thank you. Do I have a speaker against Councillor Davis?
Just a
Oh, sorry.
clarification.
Yep.
Are we breaking the law through these surveillance?
No.
Can I get some clarification?
I have to take that as a question on notice because my understanding is no.
Point
But
C
we
of the
did put
motion,
that question on notice down.
point C on the motion actually does deal with that issue. So we just go up to it.
So the question on notice is, are we breaking the law by with our current audio video recording?
And point C in the motion asks that if you get advice on that issue. Video and audio.
Yeah.
Video only. We're not breaking the
that's
law.
what I said.
Video and audio. We are.
Absolutely. What the question on notice is. Councillor, speaking against, Councillor Davis, sorry.
My concern in regard to this notice of motion is that it is a conflict of interest for Councillor Saylor because he is currently in court in regard to one of these issues. I actually,
Point of order.
I actually
Can't talk over me. Point of order.
I just
That's
can't.
a
Councillor
very
Saylor, what's your
interesting
point of order?
statement to make. Basically, insults, makes unfavorable personal remarks, or imputes improper motives.
I'm not sure she was insulting or making a.
He said there's a conflict of
personal
interest
remark?
and Councillor Fowler is in court. So what is she actually suggesting by that? It's
Are you currently in court?
I recall on Thursday the CEO actually making a statement to that fact. And it is on video. So in regard to the fact that you feel that I am not speaking factual information, that is what we were informed.
point of order. I raised the issue that it is 15.11 insults, makes unfavourable personal remarks, imputes improper motives. You're imputing an improper motive. The fact that I'm in court and that there is video surveillance and audio surveillance that was tendered in court, which actually proved me innocent, is relevant, but not for the purposes of this debate. I don't understand why you're bringing it in. We're talking about the lawfulness of CCTV with audio recording.
So then I will allow it, and I will request Councillor Davis to refrain from making personal remarks, but I will also request yourself to stop making every motion about your own personal situation. It goes both ways. Councillor Davis.
So the surveillance that we have is a work health and safety support process. I don't know how many councillors have actually sat in the front foyer of our council where reception is and heard the abuse that our staff have been given. And some people just aren't very nice. They are quite abusive. They make all sorts of statements, and then those concerns are then put to management in regard to the fact that they're not happy with staff. This is a protection for staff, it's a protection for community, and it actually gives us the opportunity to allow staff to work at the front. Many of these reception staff work on their own during lunch hour, etc., and we need to have those security items in place, like surveillance video and audio. Now, my understanding is from the statement from the CEO on Thursday is that this is not unlawful, as long as it is signposted and people are well aware. We also have a responsibility around community safety to have these items in place. My view is I would rather the staff and for the community to feel safe in public areas with these devices in place. And if people are making not very nice remarks or threatening people, maybe they need to reconsider what they're saying because it actually provides evidence. And at the end of the day, I won't be supporting this draft, this notice of motion, because I think the whole reason it's being brought to us is not for the motives of work health and safety. It's not being brought forward to us to actually protect the community. It's about the fact that we have a disgruntled councillor, and I have real concerns about that.
Thank you, Councillor Davis. Do I have a speaker for the motion? Councillor Rose.
Chair, look, this is a very important issue because I did spend a day looking at the relevant acts, and I think I just want to stick with the facts. That firstly, CCTV has been recording audio continuously inside and outside our buildings. Staff and visitors were not notified. So our officer's own response tells us that. It says signs will be installed. However, the Surveillance Devices Act, and I've looked through it pretty carefully in Section 7, Section 11, there's no general exception for audio. Council is not a party to the conversations. It's for you. Microphones are picking up. So a system recording around the clock will sooner or later capture conversations that qualify. So this is why the standard across New South Wales government is video only. I take the point that Councillor Davis is making, but we can't do something that's not legal. There's also the Workplace Surveillance Act. The Act requires written notice to employees before camera surveillance begins, visible cameras and signages at entrances. So in terms of parts A and B, to disable the audio and move to video, that fixes the signage and the notification. So those are the two parts that are important. Part C just commissions independent legal advice, which is what Councillor Stewart was asking for, on the system's compliance with the 3 acts. And Part D retains and secures every recording and pending that advice. And Part E makes clear that once the advice is in, Council will consider what properly follows. So this is just a sequence of reports based on factual information. There's absolutely no doubt when you read Section 7, I can put it up on the screen here I've got the relevant parts of the Act of the surveillance sections of the Surveillance Devices Act, Sections 7 and 11. There's no doubt that it prohibits the recording of audio conversations. So what this does is just bring us into compliance. Firstly, if we go to just look at, we can move the screen down, sections A and B.
Can we just scroll up a bit so we can see the whole motion on the screen, please? Or up or down? Yeah. She's got a conflict of interest. She's left the room. A bit more, please. Thank you.
Okay, so this just brings us into compliance. Disable audio recordings that are installed. Secondly, install signage. And then the third part is to obtain independent legal advice, retain and secure all audio video recordings to date with access restricted. And then finally, after we receive the information, we can make appropriate decisions about what to do.
Councillor Rose, I just wanted to clarify something you said, and I may have misheard, but you were saying that signage, the response is that signage will be installed. It actually sort of says, it does say, not sort of, it actually says systems and signage was installed by a third party who provided the signage. Increased signage will be installed. So signage was there, but there
was no signage about audio recordings.
No audio on the signage, Chair. That's the point. It was actually a business card for the security company. It had their security license number on it. It wasn't.
So I think council staff actually admitted that there wasn't appropriate signage, and there would be signage, and perhaps there is now. But in any case, we need to disable the audio recording because that's the requirement under the Act. And it's better for us to be safer than.
Councillor Stewart?
Just can we get some clarification? Find out whether we're acting legally or. But we've got councillors here saying that we're in an illegal process. Well, I just can't understand. Surely our management team wouldn't be using illegal practices. So can we? To tell you, I haven't read the Act, and I'm not going to read the Act. And but I just can't understand that an organisation like this would be putting in illegal stuff.
I must admit, councillors,
It just seems stupid to me, even as a young. I can't understand why we'd be putting illegal
no, I agree, and it maybe would have been a little bit more helpful if the notice of motion had been along the lines of clarify the situation with audio and video recording rather than sort of jumping to this stage. But we're here now, and this is what we're debating.
Yeah. I'd like to get some clarity, but our general managers, of course, not with the interest. Yeah, I don't know whether any of these other senior officers.
CFO, Mr. Lickers? No, we need to get. Is it Councillor Taylor? How many?
Section 7 of the Surveillance Devices Act. Prohibition on installation, use and maintenance of listening device. 1. A person must not knowingly install, use or cause to be used or maintain a listening device. A. To overhear, record, monitor or listen to a private conversation to which the person is not a party, or B. To record a private conversation to which the person is a party. So you can't record private conversations. So at the moment, Council Stewart, if you walk out of the chamber door, walk up the street, you're captured by the camera outside the mayor's office, and then you come around to the reception entry door, and there's a second camera catches you coming in. When you come into the reception, there are two diagonally opposite cameras.
Yeah, Councillor Thaler, I think that you're absolutely right, but don't forget this is a public place, as the other councillors have pointed out. What is tricky is for individual councillors to sit around here interpreting the law and interpreting the act. This is not our job, and this is not our qualification, and it's not our skill. I feel it would have been better to ask for clarification rather than to just say, oh, I've read the act, I've interpreted correctly. But the fact of the matter is we're here now. So what would we like to do? If we insist upon continuing debate on this motion, we will do it and see how councillors decide. But you're absolutely right. None of us are lawyers sitting around the table working out how we should interpret the law.
This item until we've got a staff member in the room who can answer it.
Well, we can do that, but we can't. We're mid-debate. We can't. We have to sit here and continue the debate. So we've had Councillor Rose speaking for it. Do we have a speaker against? Councillor Higgins? No, we're on our own, Bob.
Well,
Councillor Higgins is speaking again.
Legal advice.
I would like legal advice before we vote on it, but we can't do that.
Could we just use point C, and that would.
That's Councillor Thaler's choice.
We could just in place of this motion, we could point C.
We've got it. There's a pop-up on the screen which is blocking the motion a little bit about selecting microphones. Are we able to just click on the screen and get that off? Yeah. Yeah. Can you do it? Yeah. Okay.
So,
Councillor Thaler, are you happy to amend the motion to be just point C, that we obtain independent legal advice on the compliance of the CCTV system as installed and operated, including its audio-video recording capability, with the Surveillance Devices Act 2007, the Workplace Surveillance Act, and the Privacy and Personal Information Protection Act, and report that advice to Council? Would you be happy to amend the motion to be purely that paragraph?
Yes, with the caveat that it's prior to the next meeting.
Report that advice to Council at the September meeting.
That will assist the debate. And I acknowledge that some councillors are not familiar with the law. But in that, acceding to your request, I'm happy. Let's get the legal advice.
Okay, so A and B are deleted. The motion is purely, and D and E are also deleted. The motion is purely that Council obtain independent legal advice.
That'd be excellent.
Great. So let's have a speaker against. Councillor Higgins.
Right, so now it's very different. However, given that, recordings from the CCTV have been provided to the police when there has been an incident, nobody's come and arrested anybody here, I don't know. I think, the facts of the matter is that no one is concerned. It is, not that no one is concerned, that is not a fact, but it hasn't caused any legal ramifications. I also think the cameras are very important. They are in the public areas, and the sound recording is in the front desk area, which they're not really private.
Point of order. It's mischaracterising the debate. You don't know
it's not
that.
a point of order. You use that for your right of your reply. Your mischaracterisation of the debate is fine. Put it in your right of reply. Councillor Thaler, please take your seat. Please put that in your right of reply.
You're overriding it and you're allowing Councillor Higgins to make a false statement.
You can use that in your right of reply.
Just change the rules, Chair.
My understanding, I'm not a CCTV expert, as is actually no one around this place. But, you know, I have had to put stuff up around my own house. I wonder why. So this is an OH&S issue for our staff. This is a little bit like the security guard. This is about making sure that our staff are safe in that area. Okay? It is a public space. And a lot of the violence that people experience is verbal. Threats, intimidation. I think it's really important that it be captured. If you don't want a device to capture you threatening someone or being intimidating, maybe don't threaten them or intimidate them. It's not the issue of the...
Yes, Councillor Rose?
I understand Councillor Higgins' issue, but the motion has changed. So the motion is about obtaining legal advice about compliance. That's what the motion is about.
I am aware of that,
So-
but the reason behind it...
Ruling on the point of order.
I will. It's not really a point of order, but I am happy to allow this and to just remind Councillor Higgins to stick to the debate on the whether we should or shouldn't obtain independent legal advice.
Well, the implication is that it is not a right thing to do, which I would openly disagree with. I am on the record. In the last term of council, I put up a safety strategy idea for the area, which included the use of CCTV cameras. So I think the motivation for this is not about community safety, and so I will not support it.
Thank you. Do I have a speaker for the amended motion? Spoken already, Councillor Rose. Yeah. Now, Councillor Rose, this is where we are going to get into trouble, because had we been debating the amendments as individual items, I'd happily let you speak again. But you cleverly used that loophole to your advantage, and I feel you might be cleverly using that loophole again, and I won't allow that. I'm so sorry. So, anybody else like to speak for the motion?
You're denying Councillor Rose from being clever, because I think if you read the rules, you're allowed to speak to an amendment function, even if you've already spoken to it.
Yeah, but we're not debating. We're not debating an amendment.
Yes, that's correct.
Which is why I've said no.
It's an agreed change to the motion.
Councillor Stewart.
If we support this motion, we'll still have the systems working.
Yes. Yes, based on the independent legal advice. Yes. So nothing will happen in terms of what's happening, in terms of signage, in terms of the devices. Yeah. Nothing will change. All we will do is to get independent legal advice in relation to the compliance of the CCTV. Yeah. Okay, right of reply, Councillor Thaler.
So, as I alluded to earlier, you need to read Section 7 and Section 11. If you do a quick Google search, the main offences and penalties, it is illegal to use a listening or optical device to record private conversations or activities without proper consent. You can do it, but you have to obtain consent. And there are ways to do that. You put signs up at the door that says video and audio. You must make it clear audio. To do audio in a workplace, you invoke the Workplace Surveillance Act. And it's a 14-day notice. Employers must give workers written notice of at least 14 days before starting any overt surveillance. And for the abundance of caution, overt is an adjective that means done or shown in an open and obvious way. They're not covert surveillance, overt, public, visible, obvious. The point is, the staff have not been given the 14-day notice. Councillors haven't been. And you need to tell the community that if you enter past this premises, this door, this stairway, that recording by video and audio will occur. You go past that warning sign, you are taken to have given implied consent. But it must be clear and obvious to you. That's how it works. Now, I know you mightn't believe me. A lot of people around the community will say Thaler is quite often correct. I'm very seldom wrong. But do my research. You can choke on your cud all you like, but that is still a fact. The issue
Well, you're not calling to the motion.
A point of order,
Yeah.
Councillor Fowler. I think just like Councillor Higgins, you're not talking to the motion because this motion only simply asks us to obtain legal advice. No one could be against that. Surely no one can be against it.
Not quite a point of order. Interesting point, nonetheless. Councillor Thady, you have just over a minute.
So I've agreed to amend the motion because, yes, I'm happy to get legal advice. I've already done it. I already know what the legal advice will be. So the issue is not making it about me, which is another point that was raised. Shouldn't make it about yourself. I'm not. Making it about the community. You can't go down to the park at the moment and have a private conversation outside the community information centre about where you might like to go, where you might like to pull up. Maybe you're looking for a quiet car park to go and have a little bit of quiet time. That's been recorded by the audio device and the 6 megapixel camera. The point of this is let's go and get the legal advice. And when we come back with the legal advice and it says that I was right, maybe I might get a couple of apologies. It's not fun being right in matters of this seriousness, but you have to read the act and the penalties. 5 years jail. 5 years jail is the penalty for breaching the Surveillance Devices Act, and you then marry that across to the Workplace Surveillance Act. It's a pretty grim sentence there as well, because that's about workers' rights. The ability of a worker to have a private conversation not being recorded. Because if they are being recorded and they've been given a 14-day notice, they will self-censor or move to a place where they can. That's the point.
Thank you, Councillor Thaler. With that, I put the motion before us. All those in favour? Councillor, record of votes in favour: Councillor Stewart, Councillor Rose, Councillor Elliott, Councillor Rooney, Councillor Thaler. Those against: Councillor Higgins, Councillor Summers, Councillor Davis, Councillor Hopkins. The motion is carried.
We've seen the rivers rise, we've watched the mountains burn. Through the darkest nights we've stood, we've learned. They tried to break us down, but we're still here. With hearts of steel, we've made it clear. Peter fights for those without a say. Rolling Kylie, Doug won't walk away. They face the heat, they've stood their ground. Now the tide is turning, hear the sound. It's our home, it's our fight. We stand as one, we'll make it right. We face the flood, the fire, the strain. Independence rise, we'll break their chain. Monaro strong, we won't be swayed. Truth and justice never fade. They make the rules, then twist them back. Keep the door shut, keep us off track. But we've got voices, we've got the will. We stand for the people, they never will. It's our home, it's our fight. We stand as one, we'll make it right. We face the flood, the fire, the strain. Independence rise, we'll break their It starts today.